From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. Steve and Rye, the North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Here we go. Well, at least I got the 1-1 draw right. Caroline on the Red this morning was predicting Steve would be quite happy talking about Newcastle at Wolves, but 100%. Ryan would be wanting to do a gardening show. So there you go.
Yep. I have to tell you, lads, my daffodils are coming up absolutely pristine. We have got so much to talk about. Daffodils, roses are great to be growing at this time of year as well.
Oh, man, you were going to win the league last season. You were going to win the Carabao Cup last week. You were going to win the Champions League last week. It's only one result, man.
When to fertilise your garden and when not to, it's all getting covered here, don't you worry, on the North East Gardening Show. Yes. A reality check. But no, look, you're absolutely right. It was a tough old loss. A win of 7 coming to an end on the weekend for the mighty Borough, but it was a bit of a tired and limp performance. I think, Dave, that got me. It was just something that I just wasn't expecting from the Borough.
Yeah, I was expecting
I was sitting
at the Riverside
to go down with a fight.
Not good, mate. No, not good.
We just looked tired. We looked limp.
There was more energy on our show on Friday than there was from your team. From what I saw.
Yeah, there was. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. It was a very, very strange performance from the lads.
The mighty Mackhams.
The run of games.
The mighty Mackhams. Oh.
Yes.
No Ted this
look
week.
At you guys go. Yeah.
No Ted this week, but the mighty Mackhams have managed to steal a little bit of your thunder. I told you it's going to be neck and neck this season, lads, with Sunderland and Borough. It's exciting.
They've Blimmin taken over us in the ladder as well, which Ted was first quickly to message me about as well. Yeah. Sunderland have back up ahead of Middlesbrough on the table, so back up to 7th. Mind the gap was the logo he sent me. But yeah, Sunderland have found a striker, or found goals at least, and got a good win against Norwich City. We did soften them up for them. That's all I'm going to say is that you're welcome, Sunderland, because Middlesbrough played you them midweek, and we just softened them up, buttered them up for them.
Hang on. Before we go any further in football, Bub Alert. What's the latest, Rye?
Mate, I was going to try and talk to you before we went on it. I think we're going in now.
Oh no.
We're having, so we're close. We're very close. I have a feeling something's going to happen in the next couple of hours, to be honest with you, that I'm going to be back in the car and going.
If you can wait till 9 o'clock, because obviously I'm on manoeuvres. Just tell your lass I'm on manoeuvres, so she can't go until 9 o'clock.
Tell her. She's got to wait.
I'll tell her to hold it in. But yeah, we're very, very close, lads. We're very close.
Oh, fingers crossed, mate.
It's just like when you have a curry, lads. You know what I mean? And you're desperate, but you've got to hold it in. Just tell her it's like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Radio show comes first, love. Just hold it. Just hold it.
Get your priorities right.
I'm going to talk about how many injuries we got first. Just please hold on.
No injuries for Newcastle at the weekend. I mean, we couldn't have many more, really. Let's face it. But I mean, look, for me, lads, I predicted a draw. I was right. I thought that Newcastle would get a point at Wolves. Tough place to go. They've just beaten Manchester City. They've got a draw against Aston Villa. They've beaten Bournemouth away. They're on the up. And look, let's face it, that's a game Newcastle United could have lost. That takes us, another point closer to qualifying for Europe again. We're a point ahead of where we were this time last season.
Yeah.
And I think we've had harder fixtures. And we've had the Champions League in the middle of that. So, room to be positive. No negativity from me. Despite our timeline on Twitter going into absolute meltdown about Nick Pope at the weekend.
Wow.
Well, look, man, we've talked about it on here before. How many times we've seen the Newcastle timeline have a pop at somebody? It was Dan Burn the other week. This week it's Nick Pope. Nick Pope can't catch this. Nick Pope can't put. Honestly, I mean, just give the guy a break. The guy kept us in the Dortmund game. We lost 1-0. It could have been 3 or 4-0. And I thought he made the right decisions at the weekend. We'd just seen an incident where the Wolves goalkeeper had, tried to catch the ball and it had skidded out of his hands because the conditions were atrocious down there at the weekend. He made a decision to punch it. Yeah, look, Wolves ended up scoring because of it. Then a bad bit of defending led to the goal, but look, give the guy a break. He's a good goalkeeper. He is always in contention for an international call up as well. Give the guy a break. But I was happy, lads. I was happy with the point. I've got to be perfectly
I'm just surprised that Longstaff still rocked up because he's not on holiday yet. Obviously, that's been postponed for a little bit. Still waiting for the Longstaff brothers to be going away on holiday. That's the Twitter that I've sort of.
I tell you what, Bruno stood out for me at the weekend, lads. He was absolutely outstanding. He's put his contract situation behind him now, and he is backfiring on all cylinders, and he revels playing alongside Longstaff. Longstaff gives Bruno the freedom to do what he's good at on the pitch, and I think there's more reasons to be positive. As I say, no injuries sustained. Obviously we had a little bit of an update on Alexander Isak. He is going to miss the next game against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. He's going to miss Arsenal at Saturday. He's going to miss Dortmund next week, but Eddie Howe's got high hopes that he'll be back for Bournemouth, which is earlier than expected, which is great. So, look, we just got to make do and mend. We've got, maybe there'll be a few changes on Wednesday with the Carabao Cup. We'll look at that a little bit later in the week. But look, all is good. We just take one game at a time at Newcastle and just enjoy. And there's been some great games over the weekend. Newcastle, still retaining a top 8 spot after the weekend's fixtures, and I'm happy with that. Be amongst the runner and riders.
Wilson turning back the clock as well. Wilson turning back the clock. What a goal! I mean,
first one was
looked about 20.
First one, right? He should have put it away first time, but then then he had the opportunity, and the overhead kick was superb, and he went into third, lads, in the all-time Newcastle United Premier League goal scoring list. Incredible. Alan Shearer tops the table on 148. Peter Beardsley on 48. Callum Wilson now third, just above Andy Cole and Shola Ramiobi. Wow. He's all on his own on 44 goals. So I think it's a credit to the guy. And I mean, imagine if he hadn't had as many injuries.
I completely agree.
He could have creeped ahead of Beardsley a little bit earlier, but no, it's for me positive weekend. I'm not down at all. I mean, a lot of people feeling like it was 2 points lost, but let's face it. Had Wolves star man not limped off with what looked like a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury, we could have lost that game. So I'm happy with the point. I really am. It's a tough place to go.
I think it's the signs of a good squad, mate. When you're turning those games that you could potentially would have lost. Into a point at least, you know what I mean? Especially, with the run of fixtures that you're having, the amount of games we spoke about obviously on Friday's show about the tough games and run that you're going to have coming up, the injuries that are mounting up for all the Northeast clubs, Newcastle aren't exempt for that. And, to come away from Wolves with a point, in the form they've been in, I think you've got to, at some point, you've got to, just be happy that it wasn't a loss and that you can still get points from it. No. 1 point's better than none. So, and I think it's a sign of a good squad when they can turn, games that they would potentially lose or go away and have a tough, afternoon into a couple of points. So, I think that was a good result for Newcastle, and you did predict it. Obviously, Sunderland as well. They had a very good result. We were predicting Sunderland to get over Norwich, though. I wasn't expecting Norwich to be that bad. I must admit, I thought Norwich would be up for more of a fight than they were. Obviously, going down. Quite easily, I thought, and obviously, the return of Clark getting the goal from the penalty spot. They had Hume and Dan Neil backfiring as well, and back at the stadium alight as well. So, a good afternoon for Sunderland, and that's it for the Northeast clubs, I think.
Terrible weekend. Terrible weekend for the National League, lads. Terrible weekend. Gateshead, I don't know what on earth happened there. I haven't seen any reports with us working away this week, but Gateshead losing 4-0 to Flyde.
Wow.
I mean, that's diabolical.
That's incredible. Hartlepool are in a mess, mate. They are in a mess
as well. We covered that last week. The situation that's developing at the club, but they lost 3-2. Bad weekend all round.
Just looking at Darlow as well. I mean, Darlow still rooted to the bottom of National League North with a single. Is it a single point? They've got something like 7 or 8 points to drift to safety now. They were done at home by Spenny, so a bit of a derby in that one as well. So hats off to Spenny. They're still flying up in the top reaches of the table. But
I'm scared.
Yeah, so am I.
I reckon John Askey is on he's got limited days. I think we've seen a lot of managers. This weekend, lads, was the biggest manager merry-go-round that we've ever seen in the Cup first, of this season. I think John Askey is not far off. He just sounded in his post-match just so disjointed with what the chairman's putting out, and saying about the selling of the club and how disappointed he is, and he just sounded like a real down on his luck lad, and I'm worried for that.
And I'm quite amazed that nobody's mentioned Newcastle's dodgy penalty.
Well, it's refereeing decisions and VAR once again in the talking point, and Alan Shearer wasn't very happy either. He said he wouldn't have been happy if that had been given against him. So, like I say, we know where we're at with VAR. We've discussed it till we're blue in the face on this show.
We're going to rename the show. We're going to rename the show.
Scandalous.
Yeah,
it's a mess. It is a mess.
That's what Gary O'Neill called it. I love the names we're getting for VAR. We got Gary O'Neill calling it scandalous. We got Vincent Kompany saying it's like going to a casino. We got Dave saying burn it at the stake. I mean, there's all like different names. I think we should call it.
I love Gary O'Neill.
The shrimp from the Barbie.
Gary O'Neill's response. Well, I'm not going to talk to the officials anymore. I mean, grow up, son. Grow up. You've spent the whole week trying to out Eddie Howe by going on Sky and this is what we do and blah 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 blah. And I'm not being funny, mate. You're not Eddie Howe. You've had a little lucky run of injuries. We've had a run of injuries, and we're still come down and took a point off you. Gary O'Neill's going to come a cropper. Like his arrogance is awful. He's building up this whole persona. I think
we saw
around. That. I just think
we saw that as a player when he was at the Borough, mate.
He's trying his best to be like Eddie Howe, and he's failing miserably. That's the way I look at Gary O'Neill. And coming out and saying, "Well, I'm not going to speak to officials," I think it's pathetic.
And talking about growing up, I'm going to out a set of Borough fans. We'll talk about this more. I'm going to out a set of Borough fans from the weekend.
Oh no!
Who need to grow up very quickly. Fortunately, it's nobody from Australia.
I was crying. Oh, thank goodness!
Yeah.
I was crying. I was in tears. I thought it was me. 100% that was coming my way.
And I've got to, just before we do the news headlines, the club headlines, I've got a joke for you fellas. I was doing some research on VAR according to the Premier League over the weekend, and this is a great joke. Their one-liner for VAR in their handbook of use of VAR for the Premier League includes the quote, "Minimum interference, maximum benefit." Can you believe that? That's minimum like interference.
Red Bull or something, isn't it? I mean, oh my goodness me, VAR. They are ridiculous, mate. They are.
5 minutes to make a decision, lads. 5
and a half.
And they make
an offside.
And they get it wrong.
An offside. 5.5 minutes and offside.
Oh,
and I tell you what, Rai, your soon-to-be-born bub would have drawn straighter lines than the guys with all the technology.
Oh my God, mate! It is just. I can't with VAR anymore. I can't.
Dear.
I've given up.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm a championship lover, I tell you, because there's no VAR down there. And every time you watch a Premier League game and you just say, Burnley's. Did you see Burnley's? Oh, my goodness me. Far out.
Crazy,
like, what are we running? It's incredible. But, yes, we have got news headlines. We've got to get into it. I've got to talk as well during the show about Ajax and going down 5-2 to PSV. Did Ajax, and old Chuba Akpom's still not getting a game over there at Ajax. It's a bit messy there, but there's a lot going on. We lost a few managers this weekend as well, lads. We lost the good one and only Nigel Pearson. He's gone. Bristol City. Chris Wilder being linked with a return to Sheffield United. Can you believe it, Borough fans?
1 point Sheffield United. 1 point.
Yeah. equaling the worst start in history to a Premier League
equaling their own start.
It was their own.
I was going to say, they're beating the worst performance in the Premier League so far, and that was theirs.
Minus 22. Minus 22 goal difference of Sheffield United as well.
Minus 22. That'll teach him for being a bunch of arrogant fans.
All right. They're incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
Anyway, let's get on with the headlines. We'll do a bit of this one first.
Magpies and proud. Mags News.
Newcastle United extended their unbeaten league record to 6 games on Saturday night, but they left Molineux with just a point after twice allowing Wolves chances to level the match. Callum Wilson with both goals for Eddie Howe's team, one of them from the penalty spot. Those 2 goals for Wilson took him into 3rd spot in the all-time Newcastle United goal scorers list in the Premiership. Wilson's got 44 goals to his name, and he needs 5 more this season to overtake Peter Beardsley in 2nd place. Alan Shearer tops the list, of course, with 148. And finally, Alexander Isak is set to miss the next 3 Newcastle United games with a groin injury. The striker will be unavailable for trips to Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, the home game against Arsenal, and the Champions League trip to Dortmund. That's your Newcastle United headlines you're waking up to this Monday morning.
Smoggies and proud. Borough News.
It's all over, Borough fans. It's done. There's nothing to talk about. There's no headlines. We've lost. The winning run is over, and the importance of a 21-year-old Hayden Hackney was sorely noticed in a tired and limp display against Stoke. What else can I say? Michael Carrick is back Josh Coburn to add more goals to his game, by the way, in a huge show of faith for the young Middlesbrough striker. Coburn has started Borough's last 8 league games after replacing Emmanuel Latte-Lath in the team at Sheffield Wednesday. And whilst his hold-up play and overall link of the attacking moves have been a major positive for the side during a winning run that was obviously ended on the weekend, let's not talk about it, goals have eluded the 20-year-old and obviously on frustration to the Borough fans. His only goal of the campaign so far has come in the victory at Watford. And while he missed 2 big opportunities against Birmingham City last weekend, Borough lost 2-0 to Stoke on Saturday. Coburn looked to have missed the best of 2 chances Borough had all game. Both were largely crafted fit by himself, and therefore he does deserve the credit. But asked if the Richmond striker was one of those areas where he just needs a goal, Carrick said, yeah, forwards obviously like scoring goals. He's doing a lot of good work for the team though, and I'm sure goals will come for him at some stage, whether it's this week, next, or whatever. He's a young lad. He's still learning. He's learning quickly and developing really well. There are a lot of good things to his game already. It's a positive that we've got him, and he's doing so well. The goals will come, I'm sure of it. And also, Borough boss Michael Carrick has revealed that he won't be dipping into the free agency despite the injury troubles Borough have. He told T-Seed is the words they're coming out with. It's all happening down here in Australia. T-Side Live. He told T-Side Live we won't be looking to sign any free agents at this stage. Injuries are a part of football, and we're just going through an unfortunate stage right now. I smile about it, but it's a wry smile. That's me. That's an easy smiling about me, but really because we don't want to lose anyone else. But that's football. At some point, you're always going to have to take the injuries, and lads are going to have to suffer injuries or illnesses or whatever it may be. That's football. But it's why we've got the squad we have. That's why we've got the depth we have. So that is the Middlesbrough headlines. We are still suffering from injuries. We do have the return of Hayden Hackney very soon now, though, because he's off the yellow cards now. And Middlesbrough will find their way back. Don't you worry, Borough fans. Happy Monday.
Mackems and proud. Black Cats News.
Of course, Sunderland ended that 3-match losing run with a 3-1 win over Norwich at the Stadium of Light at the weekend. It was the first time the Black Cats have beaten the Canaries on Wayside since 2012. With Trey Hume, Dan Neil and Jack Clark scoring the goals, Mowbray handed a first senior start to summer signing Nazali Rushin, who's admitted he's struggled with a language barrier since moving to England from the Ukrainian club Zora Luhansk. On the back of the win, Jack Clark picked up a 9.9 match rating in the EFL Championship Team of the weekend. Clark starred with a goal and an assist, making 5 key passes and completing 8 successful mazy dribbles as the Black Cats moved into 7th place, just just a point adrift of the playoff spots. Sunderland are holding another of its prestigious Hall of Fame dinners on Friday the 10th of November. 9 Wearside legends will be honoured for their outstanding achievement and commitment in the red and white stripes in what promises to be a very special evening for all involved with the club. The event is at the Stadium of Light. Attendees will be treated to a drinks reception on arrival before moving into the legendary Montgomery Suite to enjoy a sumptuous 3-course meal while also receiving a commemorative programme of the evening. Tickets are on sale. More details on safc.com.
Steve and Rye, the Northeast Footy Breakfast.
Right across the Northeast, the red, the count and the tune.
Now then, it is a different show this morning because Steve's got to leg it. He'll be joining us on the phone. Yep. Rye could leg it at any... What's the update, mate? Any second, really Rye's good lady is about to give birth.
She is literally... We are having contractions as we speak.
Oh,
so
no.
As soon as they get to the point, we need to go. Oh, me as well.
Phantom, mate. Phantom pregnancy, I'm telling you.
I tell you. The only contractions I'm having is when we can get my best mate Riley McGree back on that pitch, because my goodness me, do we need some of these lads. That's what I'm contracting over, I tell you, because I'm in a big loss for the Middlesbrough injuries at the moment. It's starting to hurt.
Not as much as your good lady, mate, I'm telling you.
she's the real champion here, don't you worry about that. But Steve, while we got you, before you do duck off, and I do have to try and run the show.
It could very easily become a musical breakfast show this morning, I'm telling you.
All change.
I got to talk. I mean, you talk about Bruno being one of your best players and favourite players from the weekend. I've got to talk about Fabian Schär. I thought he was outstanding on the weekend. I thought he was strong, looking solid as ever, and dealing with even though he did get a goal, that Hwang Hee-chan, who looks like a real bully. Wolves have gotten a striker up front. I thought Fabian Schär was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, look, he defies logic. We paid £3 million for him, lads, and he looks like a 30, 35, 40 million pound striker,
doesn't he?
Defender. Sorry, he's got into this kind of rhythm now, which I thought would have only lasted a few games, but he just gets Eddie Howe. He listens. He's obviously he's fit. He's in his 30s now, and he just looks like he's rolling back the years. I mean, he chips in with the odd goal as well, but he is a world class international defender. There's no doubt about it. And when you bear in mind that he's been playing without Botman for the last few weeks, he's been playing alongside Jamal Lascelles. More credit to Schär. He's come in and done a fantastic job, Lascelles, but Schär is obviously the driving force in that back four. I mean, look, everyone has off days. Trippier didn't have the greatest of games at the weekend. He's allowed to not have a good game because of normally he's our regular 7 out of 10. Fabian Schär was outstanding at the weekend, and I agree, mate. I mean, look, it was a tough game. The weather was awful in Newcastle's game. Same for both sides. Same for both sides, of course. But you know what? It was tough. The tough competition, the Premier League as well. It's and then the Champions League, and then the Premier League. And it's going to take its toll. But he just seems to be reveling in this lack of in this responsibilities that he's got. It's fantastic, lads. It's good to see. It's good to see that the foundations of Newcastle's team are still strong. Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier at right back, Dan Burn at left back, and Lascelles and Schär, in that centre half position. They're doing well at the moment, and they've got a lot of changes in front of them. The midfield's changed over the last few weeks with the injuries that we've got, but that work rate is there. The Eddie Howe press is there for all to see. I thought Gordon played well at the weekend again. He didn't have his greatest game, but his work rate was superb. Sean Longstaff covered the ground as well. As I say, I've already picked out I think
Gordon was targeted by Wolves, I must argue. I think he was man-marked very heavily. The most I've ever seen. You could tell that Wolves went out with a plan to nullify Gordon straight away.
He was picked out as the danger man, there's no doubt about it.
He was, 100%.
What I noticed with Callum Wilson was as well, normally Callum Wilson's busting a gut and running 100 miles an hour to close people down. He was more reserved, and I think that was deliberate.
He was,
And I think deliberately so, because the last thing you need is him pulling up with a hamstring injury and being out 4 or 5 weeks as well. Interesting to see Eddie Howe only chose to use one substitute as well, and that was probably due to the lack of the lack of attacking options on the bench. I mean, he brought Willock on, Willock again, just he's just coming back from injury himself, but did okay. But the rest of his options on the bench was like Livramento, Hall, Dummett. It was all a defensive flavour. So it was a wise thing to do. It really is going to be intriguing to see what side he puts out on Wednesday. I mean, I watched Manchester United in the Manchester derby yesterday. It was like men against boys. Man City bossed that game. Man United looked a shadow of them for themselves. They were fighting amongst themselves. They were
Ten Hag's got to go. He's got to go now. The writing's on the wall.
Anthony was embarrassing at the end of that game yesterday, where he tried to literally kick Doc out like off the pitch, not once but twice. He should have been carded, red carded for the second one. I felt it was just ridiculous. But I think we're playing Manchester United at the right time. I just wish we had. I wish we had a few more. I wish we had more options. I wish we had a few more options. I think if they'd have been at St James's Park, I'd be confident of knocking them out of the competition. It's going to be tough down there, but. It's a good time to play them.
You're coming off, beating Man City, aren't you? You knocked them out of the Carabao Cup. It's a short couple of weeks ago, and they were a gulf between the two clubs last night. You could see, the gulf between City and United. Yeah.
We've got a really good start 11.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, at the moment, because of the injuries, we've got no strength.
Just a bit shallow on the bench. Yeah.
100%.
Well, Eddie Howe touched on that after the game when he was chatting with Sky. He was talking about the situation with the substitutes in the game, why he couldn't really make a change. Let's have a listen. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, I thought it was difficult for us today. We had limited attacking options, and what I want to do when I make a sub is try and make the team better and play players in their best positions. So if I was to make changes today, it would probably be playing players out of position, and I was reluctant to do that with the game so evenly poised.
God, it makes sense every time he opens his mouth, that fella.
It does.
He does. He's a manager. He's a manager to be proud of, lads. And look, I think we are lucky in the North East. We've got Mogga, we've got Carrick, we've got Howe. I think it's 3 guys you can trust in charge of the football teams.
I completely agree.
You've got to, as supporters, it's your job to support the club, and you've got to support your managers through thick and thin. And I think at the moment we've got 3. We're very lucky. I think Sunderland and Middlesbrough will be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. I think it could be another playoff battle, and I genuinely think that you're both going to have ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. I think Newcastle will do well this season.
I'm calling it, Steve. I'm calling it. Yeah. Redemption of Matt Ritchie, mate. Redemption of Matt Ritchie. Get him back. Get him on.
He could play. He could play Wednesday night. He could play and he'll do a job.
Redemption.
He's fit as a lop, and he could really do well on Wednesday night. You just never know. But I think Newcastle will qualify for Europe this year, and I think I think both of you guys will end up in the playoffs. I've seen enough of the teams already this season to know that's what's going to happen. I think that's what. No,
I completely agree. I think you're absolutely right. I think Sunderland and Middlesbrough are poised in that top half to be 2 of the better teams in the championship. I think Leicester and Ipswich are going to take some catching now. Obviously, Leicester pulling away. Ipswich not far behind as well. They just can't be stopped. There's just not many teams out there that are just pulling Ipswich or Leicester in. We can't be relying on Sunderland or Middlesbrough to be to pull them in. And then obviously you've got Leeds and Southampton up there as well that are trying to showing this new run of form as well, which is obviously the recent relegated teams. And tough to see, heading into January as well, because those teams are going to only reinvent their squad, aren't they? They're going to reinvest into it as well with the parachute payments and stuff like that. So you got to do as much best as you can with what you've got. Middlesbrough's hand at the moment is dealt that one of injuries. We are really, really struggling with injuries. Sunderland as well have been struggling with injuries. They're starting to get their team back together. Newcastle, obviously, we heard from Eddie Howe there as well. Couldn't really turn to the bench because of the injuries. And you like you said, the bench was Ritchie, Livramento, Kraft, who's just come back as well, Hall, Joe Willock as well. So it's an interesting time to see the 3 Northeast teams battling as hard as they can with the injuries that they've got. There's something in the water up at Northeast at the moment because the injuries are thick and thin.
As we're coming to the news headlines, lads, I'm going to now have to go remote. If the missus has the baby today, please let us know. Good luck, mate.
I will, of course. I will.
Just
thank
remember,
you, mate.
eat the toast that they offer you, have cups of tea, sit and watch the TV as she's pushing, and don't faint, right?
No worries, mate. No worries.
And if she asks you to hold her hand, don't, because she'll break your knuckles.
Okay, guys, I will be back.
You, lads.
See you soon.
No worries, Steve. We'll speak to you soon, mate.
See you on the other side, mate.
See you on the other side.
Yeah, Steve's disappearing. We'll have a chat with him on his travels. He's
now we can
mobile.
talk about gardening, right?
Yeah. Should we talk about gardening? I mean, it's that time of year, mate. It's that time of year over here where
let's get it out of the way. You know, we've got a Middlesbrough team that's been halted in their tracks. It's always Alex Neil. Why is it always Alex Neil? I don't get it. It's always Alex Neil that comes up against us and gets the job done. We saw it when he was in charge of Norwich, in the final there, when Cameron Jerome got those goals. And we saw his ugly, smug face come back again on the weekend and in his tracksuit, and he does a job. But to be honest with you, it wasn't as much as Stoke looking good as we will look tired, I would argue. We looked flat, we looked tired, the boys looked ragged. I mean, the fixtures are obviously catching up. Michael Carrick choosing to stick with the same team as well. And I think it came undone, unfortunately. I think the lads were just absolutely, off their feet. We saw Josh Coburn not, as effective up front in terms of the running that he would normally do. Izzy Jones had one of, pretty poor performance by his standards, I would argue.
Yeah, he did.
Engel, unfortunately, was slow in that back left, but he's played every game again now since coming back into the squad. We just looked slow. I mean, that Barlasser and House and midfield, my goodness, the importance of Hayden Hackney. You just don't know till he's not there, do you? I mean, what an incredible sort of reminder of how important a 21-year-old can be to your squad.
But there should be absolutely no reason why we missed Hackney so much, because you've still got Johnny Howson, you've still got Barlasser in there, etc.
Yep.
Howson's been an absolute revelation since joining the Borough.
Yep.
And I know he's been sitting out quite a number of games now, but you would think Hackney, youngster, picks up the fifth yellow card. Okay, he's got to sit a game out. There would be enough to come in, but it was all over the field. It was all over you could tell from the start. Stoke got the ball, moved it around quickly, came straight at us, put the press on, and we just couldn't cope with it.
Right hand side.
We just couldn't.
They always played that right hand side.
Well, that was an issue we had last year. We were highlighted as being weak in the left fullback position last year, and Stoke did us last year. To be fair, and they just came to the Riverside and repeated it. It was amazing.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was. It was incredible to see them how quickly they could move it from one side of the pitch to the other and just catch us sleeping. And the boys just looked tired. And it was interesting for me to see the likes of Rogers, Silvera, and Latte Lath come in the 60th minute mark and 70th minute mark. I really thought we could have seen a squad to that. That I wouldn't have been upset to see a Rogers, Silvera, Latte Lath starting on the weekend, just giving Coburn a rest, just giving Crooksy a rest. You know what I mean? Even Izzy Jones, who looked, as I said, Jones, Izzy, had one of the.
He had
really
one run very early on, first 10 minutes. He got the ball, had to run at a player, beat him, whipped in a cross. I was thinking, great. And after that, nothing. Absolutely nothing. No. And we've got the Traveller back, by the way. The Traveller is with us.
Hey, we're on the road.
I'm back.
We're on the road.
I'm outside at the moment, yes. So I'll chip in when I can, lads. But apologies for any background noise.
That's all right, mate.
Stay safe. All right. Walk carefully, please. We know how attractive you are, Steve, and we know the fans will be wanting to come up for an autograph. So just tell them you're live on the radio and that you can't deal with them right now.
And now we're on DAB radio across Teesside as well. I mean, you're going to get Borough fans coming asking for your autograph, Steve, or something like that. Maybe I've lost. Could be good, yeah. Maybe I've lost that in translation. Maybe they'll ask you for something else. But well, there you go. Yeah, our test transmissions are on for a couple of days. We've been on over the weekend.
Were you up the pole, like Dave?
Mate, last week was all about fixing the one near you. It's all clever stuff this day and age. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to even though I'm an engineer, mate, all my life was spent with the old-fashioned engineering. This modern day of ones and noughts and IPs and addresses and subnet masks, it's like speaking Swahili.
It sounds like something out of Star Wars.
Doesn't it?
It does, actually.
But there's some clever people out there. You go, oh, yeah, that's your problem. Ding, ding, ding. Type, fixed. Took me 4 days to get it fixed. Took them 30 seconds, basically. But there you go.
If we ever get the technology to beam me up, I swear to God, I'm going to be the happiest man in the world. Can you imagine getting beamed up to wherever you wanted to go? Imagine I could just go beam me to the riverside and off I go.
It'll not be long, right? It'll not be long.
Come on. Who's working on that? Elon Musk, get it sorted.
Yeah.
Beam me to the riverside. I just got to get there. These limit planes are too long and too expensive. Just beat me up. Can't be that expensive.
Wait till Dave gets AI versions of me and you, Ray. Then you're not need us on the breakfast show anymore.
Well, we got. I mean, what are we going to do, fellas? We've got this Christmas song to sing. You know, are we going to beam Ray up there and
I haven't even
beam
listened
Ted
to
up?
all of this stuff. Well, I haven't listened to all of this thing. I'm going to have to catch up, lads, because I've been busy over the
We'll have
weekend.
to catch up.
You've been putting lots of stuff in the WhatsApp group, lads, and it all seems very exciting.
We're telling you, it's a Christmas number one.
Northeast.
Right.
Northeast
Okay.
Brekky Show Christmas song coming soon. We've got Ted, the Foo Fighters, the Dave Grohl-esque voice, if you will, leading the charge as we bring. Oh, I tell you, I tell you, when I'm going to roll out the piano, blow the dust off, and I tell you what, we're going to be stars, Steve. We're going to be stars.
Top of the Pops, here we come. Is it still running, Top of the Pops, or have it been pulled?
No, they pulled it, didn't they?
Oh, just because we're going to get there.
Jimmy Savile closed it down. Well, no, he literally did, because the very last episode of Top of the Pops, Jimmy Savile actually was the last person. Yeah.
No.
He was. It was that he switches the lights off and he pulls down the electricity and switches it off.
Oh, right.
So that was.
Didn't see that. Missed that one, mate.
You need to watch the Steve Coogan drama because the reenacted at the end.
Yeah, I didn't see the last episode. I missed the last episode, so I'll get there and catch up. But I did see the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, very good. It was very good. But anyway, this Christmas record. So
yeah, that's it, mate.
Singing. All
of us. We've got it's all been mapped out over the weekend, mate. Christmas number one, guaranteed. Rye's flying over on the private jet. We're going to get Steve Gibson to get in his private jet. He's flying over to perform. Ted's gone loopy. He's not here this morning. He's not with us this week because he's asked to work. But he's gone mad. I mean, he's just reliving his childhood. He's telling us all about how he can play the saxophone, the flute, the guitar. He can sing. He's lead singer. The guy's gone ballistic.
Absolutely love it.
But anyway,
I'm looking forward to it, lads. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. There might be a slight twist, and we're going to be singing. I'm telling you now. Rye had his crystal ball out, right, a while ago. I've got my ball out this morning, if you'll pardon the expression.
Hang on.
We are going to be singing our song. I'm telling you, at Old Trafford in July, at half time as the entertainment on the pitch at Soccer Aid. Absolutely, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
well, I look forward to that, lads.
It's going to be that good.
Indeed.
Yeah. You're going to have to edit I'm just gonna say, look, Ted, you're gonna need to carry the vocals. That's all I'm gonna say.
So where is Ted today?
He's working all week.
He's got to work.
Yeah.
He's got to work. Yeah.
He said the wheels of industry turning.
He said he'd listen.
Yeah. He said we haven't paid enough ads to afford him full time, and that he's after 1 week on the show, he feels that the fame got to his head, and unless we pay him hourly, on the same, we're talking the likes of Jeff Winner. This is the type of money that he wants, and look, we're in discussions with him at the moment, aren't we? We got to talk contracts. Because Ted's now demanding a lot, and so be it. It was a good week, having all three of us.
I've just realised something else we haven't done as well. We haven't played the sports news.
Oh, we've gone over it.
We better do that now. Otherwise I'll get my legs slapped. It's the Northeast Footy Breakfast, right across the Northeast, funnily enough, with Rye, Steve, Dave, and Ted in absentia. Now there's a blast from the past. Depeche Mode just can't get enough.
What a song!
Oh, hey,
what a song! You had the whole production team rocking to that song in the car. Everyone was bouncing along to that one.
Yeah,
well
there
done,
you
Dave.
go. Yeah, well, there you go.
You can't get enough of Eddie Howe.
Oh, how?
Oh, hang on.
How can you say that?
Where's that come from?
Yeah.
Baby update,
like
right? Baby update.
Nothing yet. We're about it's still about 10 minutes apart at the moment, so I think once it gets closer, I don't want to get a stopwatch out, lads. But
have you bought a little borough strip for the band?
Yeah, of course I have. Yeah. I've also claimed the name Michael Carrick for a girl, which my wife isn't happy about.
Michelle
Carrick. Yeah, I was going to go French with it. A young Riley as well for a girl, but my wife's still not having that either. So I'm working on it. My next
Sammy
work.
Dual, yeah, male and female.
My next one, Housen. Imagine Housen, my little girl Housen. You know, maybe that doesn't work as I say it out loud there. I'll work it out.
Bernie, you could call her Bernie then after Bernie Slavin.
Could do.
Yeah.
I reckon if I go even bigger though, if I go my little Gibson, he's got to get me a private jet then, right? If I name my daughter after Steve Gibson, surely I'm in line for a private jet, right? Surely.
There is actually a mate of mine who appears on the red across Teesside, Adam, and he did call his son Janino.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did call his son Janino.
There you go. I mean, there'll be a few columns getting around after the weekend.
12 names or something named after the football team and a manager, haven't they? I mean, that's just ludicrous, that. It really is.
Wow.
I mean, I'm a football fan, but there's no way in the world I would even contemplate asking the missus to do anything like that.
Steve, don't go there. Don't go there. Because I think Rye's thinking about it. I think he's thinking about it. Don't diss it.
How many names? If I could go, hang on, Joshy, Sammy, the third, Riley, McGree, the GOAT, Michael Carrick, Ricky, Housen, Gibson. Yeah. What else have we got? The only one I'm struggling with, how can I fit Latte last? I'm going to have to work on that. Emmanuel Latte.
Emmanuel.
It would be like, where does the Emmanuel come in? The tenth, the 10th name in her name. It's Spanish. We've got a bit of Spanish heritage. That works.
That
roll
works.
off the tongue. There's my excuse right there.
Just in case anybody's just joined us across the Northeast on the Northeast Footy Breakfast and wonder what the hell's going on, Rye is literally seconds away from his good lady giving birth. So the timing, the contractions, and he's going to run at any moment.
Yeah, we are ready to move. We are stations ready to go. We are ready to come off the bench and get into the first team.
Go on, Steve.
Dave, you've been making some predictions over the last couple of weeks about Wayne Rooney not going to last till Christmas. I've got to be honest, mate. I think you're right.
No, mate, he's not going to.
I think you've nailed this.
And they've got Ipswich next. They've got Ipswich next.
Going on?
He's going to get nothing against Ipswich. That'll be 4 straight defeats in his first 4 games. The fans are already turning. The owners don't know what they're doing, but they'll panic. The new owners will panic. They'll wonder what the hell's hit them. So they'll panic and they'll just pull it. I'm telling you.
I reckon John Eustace will be sitting there with a wry smile on his face, wouldn't he? Just be sitting back, going, well, there you go. There's your marquee manager, and it doesn't all come out, smelling roses, does it? Because,
so when they go back to it,
they are bad.
When they go back to Eustace, once they've bulleted Rooney, and they go back to Eustace and say, "Can you come back and do a job for us?" I wonder if it's within his right to say, "Okay, double your money."
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Has to be.
100%.
Has to be.
100%. Because they would be paying Wayne a lot to get him across.
Of course, yeah.
You know
weren't they paying him 3 or 4 times? Eustace was getting us something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
I wouldn't go back.
And I'd be looking at Nah, I wouldn't either. I really wouldn't. I'd be done. Yeah, I'd be done. I don't know what the relationship's like, and apparently John. Apparently he knew, Steve. Apparently he knew for months that Wayne was coming. Apparently as well. So I mean, they knew that he was going to get replaced months on, and he just said, "I'll still stick around and do a job until you get him." Yeah. So I mean, apparently the relationship might be really good there. But I'd be if I was John's agent, and which I can't. I'm not, but I'm happy to step up, John, if you need one. I've got experience with Sammy Silvera, Tom Glover, and Riley McGree, and also Hayden Hackney's agent as well. So if you need someone, John, talk to me, mate, because we'll get you I'll get you the big dollars, mate. Don't you worry. We'll be talking Eddie Howe type of money, John, after Birmingham's done with us. Because
Eddie does it for love, man.
It's ridiculous.
Eddie doesn't get paid. He does it for love.
Yeah.
Does it for love.
He
does it for love. I tell you, he's doing it for love. Eric Ten Hag, he's the one that's doing it for love because he hasn't got anything else going for him at the moment. The Eric Ten Hag is doing it for love. But manager merry-go-round this weekend, lads. Nigel Pearson, our local, Dave gone, sacked at Bristol City. Joey Barton gone, Bristol Rovers are gone. So they're all flying out the door now. Gareth Ainsworth as well, the rock star, gone. QPR finally getting rid of him after a loss to Leicester. So. Yeah, the doors are starting to open, and out goes the managers. But at the moment, it's good to see Northeast managers staying strong. At the moment, they can't get their hands on our 3.
Yeah, there's the managerial merry-go-round usually happens around about now, doesn't it? And you've got to look at the Premier League as well, and say, well, who's gonna take the fall in there? I mean, Chelsea again losing against Brentford 2-0. I think that's the third game in a row Brentford have beaten Chelsea 2-0. Yeah, and Pochettino is now starting to realise what a job he's got on his hands down there, because they really are misfiring across the board again, and you just wonder how that's going to end at Chelsea. But as you say, the likes of Barton, Ainsworth, Pearson, all losing their jobs. But they'll get back into football quite quickly, I would imagine. I can imagine there'll be a lot of teams that'll want to take a punt on those. I mean, Birmingham might look to one of those managers if Rooney doesn't last till Christmas, like Dave's suggesting. But the Ten Hag situation is also it's mind blowing. I watched that full game yesterday, and Manchester United were terrible. They were awful, and the players that came on didn't do themselves any favors. I mean, if you're sitting on the bench and you're wanting to get back in a team and play football week after week, then you come on and you make an impression. But Anthony yesterday typified what's going wrong at Manchester United. Yeah. The Sky cameras focused on him. It was as if he knew what was happening yesterday. He was shaking his head when the substitutions were made. He was making a big point of, I'm not happy. I should be playing in this team. Why am I fourth choice? I'm not happy. And it was all about him. And then when he came on, he did everything he possibly could to get sent off. He was flying into players. He was kicking people. He took a kick at Doku, not once but twice. He should have been red carded for it. And it was just petulance. It was arrogance. It was the worst. It was the worst example of a Premier League footballer for me yesterday. And he was like a spoiled child. And he literally should have been sent off for me for what he did yesterday.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree. But I have not seen a worse footballing performance, and I'm going to go in here, lads. Sit down. Everybody that's listening to the Northeast Brekky show, please sit down, because I'm about to fire an absolute rocket. Absolute rocket. Sofyan Amrabat. That is the worst footballing performance I have ever seen in a Manchester United shirt. You were so far off the pace. Amrabat it was incredible how bad you were. 45 minutes getting subbed, and I've never seen. If Amrabat was my player, I swear I'd be doing nothing, because I'm a nice guy, but I'd be at least tweeting at least something. You know what I mean? It's incredible how bad he was, and it's to say that he, what the game. I don't know what the game plan was. Obviously, I don't know but whatever he told the players to do in that first half was so shocking, and then he makes the change at halftime, so he's obviously seen it as well, has Ten Hag. But Amrabat I don't know how if he's getting paid, whatever he's getting paid, I deserve half, because he was that bad.
Yeah, he didn't cover himself in glory, but this is the problem with Manchester United's team. They're not a team; they're individuals, and they've put a load of individuals together over the last 5 or 6 years under a multitude of different managers, and they're failing to produce the goods. I couldn't quite pick up the words of the Manchester City song yesterday, but they were taking the mick out of Manchester United's ground. Old Trafford's fallen apart or something along those lines. But it was whatever they were singing was quite humorous.
It was meant to be for Sir Bobby Charlton as well. Do you know what I mean? It was the tribute to Sir Bobby, and you would think, if you're a true Man United player that buys into what Sir Alex used to do and the livelihood of your club, then there shouldn't. What Anthony showed in the tribute to that it just shows you they have no respect for the club they're playing for. They have no idea what it means. Do you know what I mean? No idea what it meant for the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton. No idea what it meant to come up against Manchester in a derby. No idea what it meant to pull on that shirt and play at the Old Trafford, after Sir Bobby Charlton. They had no idea half of those players out there, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
No, I think it's Manchester United are a shadow of the former selves. I think I think a lot of football fans would be reveling in the fact that that's happened now. It's Manchester City are no longer the noisy neighbours. They are the main team, not just in Manchester, but the main team in the world now. They're treble winners, they're European champions, and it's an amazing situation. It's an amazing situation that has seen that situation transform and turn around in Manchester. And Ten Hag just joins a list of managers who genuinely now are going to have a poor,
he's not going to see the season out, is he?
On the CV.
No, he won't. No,
he won't. No, he's gone. He's gone before the end of the year. He's gone before the end of the season.
He's gone in the next couple of weeks, 100%. Once they identify who they want, he's gone.
Too many individuals. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the problem started when Alex Ferguson left, and it's just never recovered. And the Glazers, wow! No. I mean, they are despised. We've had Melly Barnes on this show before, Manchester United fan who lives up in Ashton. He goes home and away, and I keep in touch with him on a regular basis, and he is beyond himself. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what the answer is, and they were fooled by the fake shake. He was never. I said this from day one. He was never interested in buying Manchester United. And Glazer and Glazer. The Glazers are happy because they're making money, and they don't really care about the football. And this is a nightmare situation for Manchester United supporters. And look at the leaky roof at Manchester United. I know it's something which the Man City fans were taking the mick out of yesterday, but that's the least of their problems. It's the hemorrhaging money they have took out. I was reading an article the other day. They've took out more loans this season. 50 million here, 50 million there, 50 million here. Do the research. It's on the internet. They must be up to something like 750 billion pounds worth of debt or something now. It's just like it's crazy, lads. It's crazy. I really don't know how on earth this is ever gonna repair itself. It's going to take years for Manchester United to repair things.
And they just don't seem to have like the youngsters coming through like the Beckham era either, do they? I mean, they got obviously McTominay and a few of that, but they're not producing those young Manchester United stars, your Gary Nevilles, your David Beckhams, the Phil Scholes, like these youngsters that used to come through Man United. They used to be
credit to McTominay yesterday, by the way. Credit to McTominay yesterday. That guy would run through a brick wall for Manchester United. He was absolutely outstanding. And when you think it's only a matter of weeks ago that McTominay and Maguire weren't anywhere near that first team set. Nah. Now they're both in the team. It's it's crazy. I mean, Maguire, Johnny Evans centre back at Man United as well. Just makes me shake my head in disbelief when you got Rafa Varane on the bench as well, and you got Maguire and Evans starting in that team, and you got Rafa Varane on the bench. It blows my mind that centre pairing when you look at Man United. But I tell you what, lads, I'm going to go for a hot top here. I'm going to go for a hot pick. Graham Potter to Man United. He's not going to be that stupid, is he?
I reckon he will. I reckon he will. I reckon he's gonna turn it all down. He's gonna not wait for England. He's gonna be in the Man United hot seat. You watch. I've called it here first.
That's it for Eddie Howe, then, isn't it? That's it for Eddie Howe.
Yep. Now Eddie Howe will be able to stay at Newcastle safely until the England job comes up, because Graham Potter will be taking over Man United. I'm calling it. I reckon he's the best next manager that they can go and get. English as well. Gets what Man United are about. Understands the English game, and I think it's time for them to turn to an English manager, someone that understands what it means, and I think he's the next best bet. So I think Ten Hag's gone. I think Graham Potter's in. I also think Sheffield United, you've got to do something about your manager, and if you don't, very quickly,
Chelsea?
It's going to be
Poch?
very
Is Poch going to last at Chelsea?
Poch is gone as well.
I can't see Poch lasting at Chelsea, lads. No way. I think he'll get sacked.
He won't stick for it.
Todd Bowley he'll pull the plug.
He'll pull it, 100%.
Of course he will. If they go on another losing streak, which it looks as if they're about to start, what's he going to do? He can't keep Pochettino in the job, and Pochettino is not your answer, right? He had a great time at Spurs, but he's not the answer, and I just don't know what the answer is. They've tried an old club legend. They've tried some big names. They've tried continental names. I just don't know what on earth. I don't know what Chelsea can do. Listen, it's great for Newcastle because there's two of your biggest clubs, two of the top six, the so-called top six, are now struggling again. Newcastle getting a point at the weekend, opening up a slight gap on Manchester United now, and opening up a big gap on Chelsea again. It's great. It's great for us. Yep. It's great for our European aspirations. And dare I say it, Manchester United and Chelsea have now been replaced by Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Brighton. There are new teams in town, and no amount of money that you chuck at a problem at Manchester United or Chelsea now is going to solve it, because the rot is deeper. It's deeper than that. So you can't throw money at the problem, lads. You can't. It's been proven.
Tell you what, though, I know we've got to get into the news, but I tell you what, if Poch and Ten Hag go, it's going to start a huge manager merry-go-round. Because someone's got to be plucked from somewhere to replace. Unless they go foreign, the pair of them go foreign, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. It's just going to start a massive manager merry-go-round.
100%. Yeah, it will, and it's already started. But yeah, the only thing I can see is maybe Jose. He's leaving Roma apparently at the end of the year, so they might turn back to an old head. Who knows?
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they'll go back there. But anyway,
I've got no idea where they turn though. I got no idea who who can go in and improve that Chelsea squad though. I don't. I got you can pay a man whoever as much as you want, but I got no idea who's going to do that job.
Poison chalice. Just got to say, by the way, we love your messages. Steve shared one with us. Great morning show, intelligent conversation with humour as well. Really puts a smile on my face. Rye is full of enthusiasm on it. His morning coffee must be a strong cuppa. Love it. Love it. Love it.
It is very strong. Don't you worry. A little bit subdued. I went for a tea this morning though.
Good man.
It was about losing 2-0, so just got to keep it calm on a Monday morning,
It is the Northeast Footy Brekky. It is news time. Steve's travelling. Rye's about to fly the nest because he's got to go to hospital with the good lady at any moment, because she's already started with the contractions. Heaven knows what it's going to look like in half an hour's time, but we will keep plodding on. The news is here. We'll be back after this. Joan Armour plating and drop the Pirates.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, what music. Look, what else? Hang on. We were going into Smoggies and Proud there. I don't know what the hell was going on. There we go. Get rid of that. I was just going to say, where'd you get the music in the chat? But like this, but then we mess it all up. Go on.
How's the bacon?
Oh, I tell you what, I've literally just had some. It was absolutely fantastic.
So I've seen the picture.
I am getting looked after.
How's the bacon?
I'm not actually the director or the actor. I'm actually helping with sound on this particular film down in.
You're a soundy.
Just outside London today, yeah. So it's I'm down here for the next 3 days, and it's they're looking after us. When you get handed a Greg's baguette, lads, with bacon and sausage in, you don't say no.
They have Greg's down there, do they?
Greg's all over, mate. Greg's all over. Eddie House ordered it out.
I thought it was a Northeast thing only, but there you go. Bigger than I thought.
No, Bonnie lad. They've got Greg's all over, mate. It's international now, mate. International.
Right, have you ever come across Greg's?
I haven't come across one. Obviously, I was last there in 2009, but I do know what you're talking about. I do know a Greg's. Know a Greg's.
People haven't recovered from the last visit that Rye made in 2009. I've been told.
But come on, a vegan sausage roll. A vegan sausage roll. What on earth is that?
You've got to cater for everybody.
Mr. Diplomat there, Mr. Diplomat. Diplomacy at its best.
It looks anemic. It doesn't even look like it's been cooked when you see the Greg's sausage, the vegan sausage roll. It's not for me, lads. It's not for me. I've tried it. I had one bite of it. I will never have another bit again. It was awful, lads.
Get back to the originals. Get back to the originals.
Anyway, I love a pasty though. Love a pasty.
Bring back the ham and peas.
Do it now.
Bring back the ham and peas puddy Stockley, lads. They stopped that. Why did they stop that? I mean, that's a national.
Tin Curry took over, mate. Tin Curry took over.
They did change. They changed from cheese savoury to cheese and onion as well. I mean, little changes like that, and it annoyed some of the locals. Like, it really did. But
Do you know
what? The biker dummy's still available. The biker dummy, the sausage roll.
Do you know what? I'm amazed you guys haven't had a pop at Radio Dad, middle class, whatever you were calling me last week, because we're talking Greg's and I know what I'm talking about. See? Proof.
This is Ted. This is Ted who has a pop at you. This is Ted who has a pop at you for that, mate.
All right, okay. I'm in safe hands then.
And then you go and put him first in the naming. You know what I mean? We love you, take care of you, and then you go and name it Ted's show. What do we do? You know, what are we doing wrong?
I wasn't the voiceover artist. I wasn't the voiceover artist with that jingle, mate. I mean, it wasn't my fault. I did not my words.
That's Daz.
Is it Daz, is it? Right, Daz. I'm on to you, Daz. Watching you, mate. Watching you like a hawk.
Daz is like jingle jangle, jewelry. He does all the jingles.
As it happens. No, don't do a Savile impression. Don't do a Savile impression. No, not allowed. Not allowed on these radio stations. But if people are wondering what the hell are they talking about, the lads have miffed at this.
Ted, Rye, and Steve.
There you go.
See? Get it off.
See? Oh,
get it
terrible.
Off.
He's not even here.
This week,
we're in contract wars with him.
This week it should be right.
He won't come back to work. Well, he's claiming too much. He's not
even here. He's not even here.
And do you know what? Not just that. He said, look, I can't be there next week, lads, because I'm working all the way through, but I'll send you some voice messages. Have we received them? No.
Got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. They get on a winning run of one game, and that's it. He's too good for us.
And the bacon, yeah. And then he gave me the Mind the Gap picture, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, come on. Ridiculous. Daz, sort it out. You know what to do.
Indeed. All right, then. Time for the old news headlines from our clubs.
Let's get into it.
Magpies and proud. Mags News.
Newcastle extended their unbeaten league record to 6 games on Saturday night, but left Molineux with just a point after twice allowing Wolves chances to level the match. Callum Wilson with both goals for Eddie Howe's team, one from the penalty spot. Those 2 goals for Wilson took him into 3rd spot in the all-time Newcastle goal scorers list in the Premiership. Wilson has 44 goals to his name and needs 5 more this season to overtake Peter Beardsley in 2nd place. Alan Shearer tops the list with 148. And finally, Alexander Isak is set to miss the next 3 Newcastle United games with a groin injury. The striker will be unavailable for trips to Manchester United in the Carabao Cup this Wednesday, the home game against Arsenal in the Premier League at the weekend, and next Tuesday's Champions League trip to Dortmund. That's your Newcastle United headlines this Monday morning.
Smoggies and proud. Borough News.
Good morning, Middlesbrough fans. Happy Monday to you. It's not the Monday we were hoping for. We've been Alex Neil'd again. Can you believe it? Middlesbrough's winning run is over, and the importance of a 21-year-old Hayden Hackney was sorely noticed in a tired and limp display against Stoke. But Michael Carrick has backed Josh Coburn to add more goals to his game in a huge show of faith to the young Middlesbrough striker. Coburn has started Borough's last 8 league games after replacing Emmanuel Latte-Lath in the team at Sheffield Wednesday. And whilst his hold-up play and overall link of the attacking moves have been a major positive for the side during a winning run that was ended on the weekend, obviously, against Stoke, goals have eluded the 20-year-old. His only goal of the campaign so far came in the victory at Watford, and why he missed 2 big opportunities against Birmingham City last weekend as Borough lost 2-0 to Stoke on Saturday. Coburn also had Borough's best 2 chances of the game, though both were largely created and crafted by himself, so that he does deserve some of the credit. Asked if the Richmond striker was one of the areas where he just needs a goal, Carrick said, yeah. Forwards obviously like scoring goals. He's doing a lot of good work for the team, Josh. I'm sure goals will come for him at some stage, whether it's this week, next, whatever. He's a young lad. He's still learning. He's learning quickly and developing really well. There are lots of good things in his game already. It's a positive that we've got him, and he's doing so well. I promise you the goals will come. And also, Borough boss Michael Carrick has revealed that he won't be dipping into the free agent market despite the injury troubles we've had. He told Teesside Live that we won't be looking into any free agents at this stage. Injuries are part of football, and we're just going through an unfortunate stage right now. I smile about it, but it's a wry smile because we don't want to lose anyone. But that's football, and at some point you're always going to have to take the injuries, and lads are going to suffer illnesses and whatever it may be. That's why we've got the squad we have and the depth that I can turn to. So Carrick, again, calm, collected, writing the game off as a bad day at the office, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all it was, a bad day at the office. Borough will come back, and we're going to win the league by 33 points. That's your Middlesbrough headlines.
Mackems and proud. Black Cats News.
Of course, Sunderland ended that three-match losing run with a 3-1 win over Norwich at the Stadium of Light at the weekend. It was the first time the Black Cats have beaten the Canaries on Wayside since 2012. Trey Hume, Dan Neil and Jan Clark scoring the goals. Mowbray handed a first senior start to summer signing Nazali Rushin, who's admitted to struggling with a language barrier since moving to England from Ukrainian club Zoya Luhansk. On the back of the win, Jack Clark picked up a 9.9 match rating in the EFL Championship team of the weekend. Clark starred with a goal, an assist, making 5 key passes and completing 8 successful mazy dribbles as the Black Cats moved to 7th place, just a point adrift of the playoff spaces. Sunderland are holding another prestigious Hall of Fame dinner on Friday the 10th of November. 9 Wearside legends will be honoured for their outstanding achievement and commitment in the red and white stripes in what promises to be a very special evening for all involved with the club. The event is at the Stadium of Light. Attendees will be treated to a drinks reception on arrival before moving into the legendary Montgomery Suite to enjoy a sumptuous 3-course meal. Could just do with that now. Whilst also receiving a commemorative programme of the evening. Tickets and more details you can get from safc.com. And that is your Sunderland News headlines. Okay, fellas.
Well, we've got to talk about football, obviously. We are a North East Brekky show, so we've got to talk about that result on the weekend with Middlesbrough going down to Stoke. Sunderland getting a win as well, overtaking Middlesbrough in the league table. Again, can you believe it, Middlesbrough fans? Sunderland are back up there. They've come back with a 3-1 victory over Norwich, but we did soften them up for them, didn't we? Yeah, we did soften up for them.
Oh, yeah.
But Sunderland doing the goods. 3-1 over Norwich City. Hume, Neil and Clark getting the goals there against Hwang Yu-jo for Norwich. And it was interesting. It was interesting to hear David Wagner. David Wagner, obviously the boss of Norwich. He was saying that it looks like the guys are getting mentally affected by the situation we face, which was an incredible statement, I thought, from the Norwich boss. So I thought it was an incredible statement.
Oh, right.
I absolutely think that I can change that,
I'll bring it back on.
It is my job to change it, and it's my job to find solutions, said the Canaries boss, which was incredible to say that his boys have been mentally affected by the run they've been on. Moga, though, he was obviously upbeat. He saw one change of the Ukrainian striker Naziri Rusan make his first start as well, and I thought he looked electric. Watching the highlights, obviously, I thought he's had a great start. Moga was upbeat, obviously, after the game, getting the lads back into a winning way as well. And I think we got some audio from the good man himself.
Here he is.
I don't think we have to do anything specific. I think the team performance level's been pretty high.
That was the wrong one. So that was good. That was a great start, wasn't it? That was a fantastic start. Here we go.
Come on, man.
Oh,
push
look.
the button.
Look, it's all this talk of babies being imminently born, Steve falling off a hair,
It's
all that
all
sort of
happening.
stuff. Here's Mugger talking about the Norwich game.
Yeah, for a majority of the game, I think we grasped it by the throat really right early on. We wanted to start fast. Obviously, the last game the game at Stoke, we both halves we started pretty slowly and paid the price, but. It was important to start fast here at home, get the fans believing that they're following a good team full of young players who care about the club and want to do well. And I thought the performance echoed that today.
Sounds like they did what the Borough didn't, fast start, because the Borough didn't.
Yep. No, we were very slow out of the box, and it does look like Sunderland got away. I mean, obviously they've scored. Norwich scored first in that game, though, interesting enough, to hear what he had to say there. Hwang Yu-jo scoring for Norwich in the 23rd minute, but then Hume, Neil, Clark coming in with 3 goals after that and putting Norwich well and truly to bed. Interesting to hear Wagner's thoughts, though. The one thing of him saying the guys are getting mentally affected by the situation they're in. By the way, the situation Norwich are in, by the way, is that they're 17th. So I don't know what's going down at the Canaries, but they're mentally affected of the being in the 17th in the league. But great win by Sunderland. They've obviously turned it around as well. Good to see Rusyn getting a start as well. We had Ted's thoughts. He thought Rusyn was electric. He ran his socks off. And it was just good to see another striker getting played and getting his chance. So it was good to see.
They need Delia on the pitch. That's what they need. They need Delia on the pitch after a couple of bottles of red going, "Where are you? Where are you?" Ooh. Probably the best.
Delia's gonna have her hands full, mate. She's gonna be looking for a new manager soon.
Yeah, Wagner. I mean, it just keeps reminding me of the guy of X Factor. I don't know.
Do you know what?
He's a strange.
I don't know whether I got Wagner and X Factor over there, but he does. He'll sing you some little jingly things for 50 quid a pop now. I know. He's got on the internet. Yeah, 50 quid. He'll sing you whatever you want. One of the Borough fans I remember about 18 months ago got him to sing a Middlesbrough song. We're Middlesbrough. And there's Wagner, however you want to pronounce it. This bloke off, what was it? Was it Britain's Got Talent or was he X Factor? I don't know which one.
It was one of the two. One of the two. Something where you've got to have no talent to get on. Basically, he was on it. But you're right. He's getting 50 quid a pop to sing like songs. Sometimes he doesn't realise what on earth he's singing as well, which is even more bizarre.
No.
It's strange. But Norwich are in a mess. Like, I mean, we've spoken before on the show, lads, about clubs that the Oldham Athletic, prime example. We remember when Oldham was in the Premier League, Dave. You were working for Sky Sports back then. Newcastle just come in, Entertainers was born. Oldham were a team up there. And now look at them. Norwich could do the same. Wolves have done it in the past. Wimbledon. There's lots of teams who rise and then fall, and it's so easy to do, and it's I feel sorry for Norwich. I do, because Norwich are a team that you can't help but like. When you go down to the stadium,
we don't.
Well, no. You go down to the stadium. We always feel welcome. It's a hell of a journey to get there. That's Watford, man. But you know what? It's with Norwich, we've always had a decent relationship. I guess the Mackhams wouldn't. I mean, the Mackhams got beat off them in the cup final. I don't know whether you don't have a good relationship with.
We got
Norwich.
done by them in the playoff final.
That's why. So,
and every year,
Alex Neil.
Alex Neil. Yeah. So every year they remind us of that fact.
The big thing I remember is Mirandina making his debut.
Cameron Jerome.
The first Brazilian footballer to play in the UK made his debut at Norwich. So I think that's why I remember Norwich fondly. But it's a long old journey when you go down to watch the likes of Norwich and Ipswich. But it's a strange one, and maybe Wagner is probably going to come to the end of his managerial career as well. Who goes in there? There's plenty of options now, like we've already discussed this morning. Plenty of people have had the P45s this morning.
Big nine.
The weirdest thing for me at Norwich, Dave, is seeing Benny Gibson run around in Norwich kit. It just doesn't feel right, does it?
Doesn't look right, does it?
I really thought like Ben Gibson would, obviously the nephew of Steve Gibson, current owner of the Borough. You'd think he would have been a Borough lad all his life, but obviously he left. He was chasing at the time Premier League football.
Well, we got 15 mil from it. It was great business.
Yeah. It was. But Norwich have been out of the Prem for a while now, and I would be interested to see, if Borough ever were tempted to go back for him, maybe they just don't see him part of the long-term plans. But whenever I look at Benny Gibson over in a Norwich jersey, it just doesn't sit well with me.
I think if his contract came to an end and he was without a club, I think he would certainly look at coming back home. But I think at the moment he's getting paid a shed load of cash, and I just think that's not where Borough want to be for a player in that position of that age, even though he's got very close links with the area and the owner. But do you know,
how did Barlaser play at the weekend, lads? Because did he have a run out at the weekend?
Nobody played really well. I thought Crooksy played okay, but outside of that, nobody performed.
We were off, and let's get into it. Middlesbrough's obviously surge up the table was brought to an abrupt halt by Alex Neil once again. He's
by me.
By
me. I reposted your 7 games successive victories. It was my fault. My fault.
You cursed us. Oh, Dave, how dare you? Get ahead. And I was telling everyone last week, Steve came in and he was really loud. He was upbeat. He was, he's so excited that Middlesbrough are up again. And I said, look, it's a long season, Steve. I said, sit down, mate. Just relax. The championship is a long season. I said, you're going to win some. It wasn't you. I get confused. I'm sorry. It might have been you. It was one of us that was saying. But
plagiarism.
We definitely got a reminder of how long a championship game season can be. And it was just an off day.
It's a marathon,
really.
not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. What I said.
And Michael Carrick, we've got some audio from Michael Carrick, but he summed it up, because sometimes you just got to accept it that that you're going to have an off day. The boys aren't going to rock up; they're not going to get everything, and the other team's going to play better and take advantage of a tired and a limp defence that Middlesbrough put on show.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't our day. I think just didn't really have that spark. Really didn't have that. Didn't click. Really didn't. Too many of the boys not quite at it for whatever reason, and that's the league. It's you got to be at such a good level week in, week out, which is kind of proven when we've had a good run of games, and you come off it a little bit, and sometimes you can get away with it. And today we come across a good team that punished us really. So you got to accept it. Sometimes you got to put your hands up and say today wasn't for us. And we got to move on. That's it. Games come thick and fast. You got to accept it and move on.
And if you want to hear Carrick or see Carrick in all his glory, then mfc.co.uk is the place to be. Yeah, it was a disappointing one.
He is right, lads, because I mean,
he is,
on Anywhere Matters, we do a program called Those Were the Days, and I recorded an episode with George Mitchell, who does the show this week, and it was about the Newcastle 92-93 promotion season. Now, that season was when Newcastle went on that wonderful run at the start of the season unbeaten, and then played Grimsby at home, and we got beat 1-0, and a guy called Dobbin scored the goal, and it stopped Newcastle's run.
It's a horse's name, isn't it? Dobbin.
It is, exactly. That was, you couldn't script it, could you? But there was a couple of results in Newcastle's season that season which really surprised me. 3-0 defeats, and you're thinking, wow, everything in that era is, it's like sugar-coated. It's the birth of the entertainers. Keegan's first proper season, gets us promoted. But yeah, even managers such as Keegan come up against teams which or that team has an off day, and it's how you recover. It's how Middlesbrough recovered. Middlesbrough need now to go out at the weekend and show Michael Carrick that isn't us. That was an off day. And that's what the Championship allows, because of the amount of games. It works both ways. You've got games come thick and furious. I don't know whether you've got a midweek game this week or not, but
we've got the cup game.
We do.
You've got a cup game. So you've got to bounce back, lads. You've got to bounce back. I mean, if you don't bounce back in the Carabao, that's not as important. But you need a performance. You've got to bounce back in the league next weekend. That's your bread and butter. You need to win next weekend.
Tough run of fixtures. Yeah,
of course it is.
Tough run of fixtures for the Borough now. You were talking about it, Steve, obviously for Newcastle, but Middlesbrough have now got to travel down to Exeter City, obviously not in our league, but for the Carabao Cup tie. We're then still away to Plymouth, so two games there at the other end of the country. Then we return to home and we invite Leicester, who are top of the table. Bristol City, who have just lost their manager, Nigel Pearson, you would think would have a new manager in by the time they rock up. And we have to play them, so they'll probably be buoyed under a new manager. We then go to Preston, who are third, and then we have Leeds United after that, and that gets us into December. So it is. I tell you what, the next 6 runs or so is really tough.
How you prepare for those games? I mean, the travelling must be the travelling's a killer for anybody. You know what I mean? So Exeter and Plymouth. I wonder whether he's planning on. Oh, they're flying.
Yeah.
Right, I was going to say.
I don't know if they're going to stay in between though. That's my question.
No,
I reckon.
Do you reckon
they stay down there? They fly back.
Fly in, fly out. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be interested to see if they would have stayed down there.
Yeah, they need to bounce back, lads. They need to bounce back. Anyway, we're coming up to 8:30. We'll better get the sport headlines in, Dave, and let's have a baby check, because I am worried about Rye.
Okay, headlines, bit of a tune, then a baby check on the North East Footy Breakfast. Right, this is fantastic.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we held.
Don't know where that one came from, but there you go.
I feel like I'm in a rave now.
The second song came on, I'm like, oh, okay.
Picturing like Dave.
I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here timing the contractions.
Let's baby alert. Update needed. Everything's still good, mate. Everything's still good.
We're all good. We're timing the contractions. We're getting we're trying to Just time it to see when we need to leave, but we're not far off, I reckon.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, okay.
Well done. You've done well, mate. You've managed to control this situation right.
Well, he's putting his priorities right. Good lad. He'll get battered. She's going to have him.
Oh, big trouble.
Hey, what about this? What about this salary cap idea in the Premier League, lads? Have you noticed this is another talking point from the weekend? The Crystal Palace chairman was interviewed on Sky and suggested that it's something that's going to get put in front of the Premier League, that cap the salary of players, which I for years have said that that's the right thing to do, because football, I always felt the football bubble would burst. I mean, there's nothing worse for me than seeing somebody earning like 150 to 200,000 £100,000 a week for kicking a football. I think it's ludicrous. But I can't see how they'll ever implement this. I can't see how they'll bring it in, because there has to be a cut-off point. You can't just suddenly say to somebody who's on contract, for 8 years, getting X amount of money, that right, okay, sorry mate, we're halving your wages now, because that's what the rules say. That's not going to stand up in a court of law. I just think although it's something I've always agreed with, I think it's like shutting the gate after the horse is bolted. I just don't see how you can ever do this. And of course, you also run the risk of making the Premier League, not the strongest league in the world anymore, because at the moment it is. But if you suddenly said, right, we're not paying the money, then you would stop these players coming through. The players wouldn't come from abroad. You wouldn't get the chance to see some of the world-class players that have graced the pitches in the Premier League. So
agreed.
Although I'm a massive fan of the idea, I'm afraid I think that ship sailed, lads.
Yeah, I think as well. I think something that you could do is obviously you say, righto, from this day forward, the contracts will be limited to this. If you're currently on this contract, you let that run out, but you will not be able to be paid more than this from now on if you're offering a new contract. But I think you're absolutely right. The negative side to that, if the turnaround effect to that, is that the players just won't come. You know what I mean? You'll see the Real Madrids, you'll see the other leagues that don't have these caps on. We see at the moment, and I want to talk about, we see two of the best English stars out of the game now in Jude Bellingham and arguably Harry Kane. They're not playing in England, and you want to see the England stars play in England. And if we salary cap it, then you're not going to see the likes of Haaland, you're not going to see the likes of Jude Bellingham, you're not going to see the likes of Harry Kane's and all that sort of stuff, because they're just going to be able to get paid more at Bayern Munich, at Real Madrid, at Barcelona, at PSG even. So it's something that I think needs to happen, and it's something we need to look at, is the financial fair play. But again, as I said, I think we spoke about it last week, it needs to take a smart man to come up with how you're going to go about it, because you want to do it in a way where it gives every team a fair chance on the day or in the season to have a right go at it. You don't want to see your Lutons, Burnleys and Sheffield Uniteds, the people coming from the championship up, going straight back down again. It just doesn't make for good, entertaining football. You want to believe that your club can go up and stay up. And it doesn't take a Nottingham Forest expenditure to then stay up. But the gap is becoming even increasingly large. And we see it now with the teams coming down to the championship in Leicester that are going to run away with the championship. And Ipswich are a surprise packet in there as well. But that for me, the gap there is getting larger, and the pay wall needs to compensate for that. And how you go about that, I'm not too sure. It is a scary thought to think that we might have to go down that route. But I think it's something in that area needs to be looked at and done for sure.
There's two things on that. One is Formula One managed it. It was a spending cap on all the teams, the competing teams. So I think it can be done, midway through a process. But the second one is, I don't think you have to look too far away, Ryan, from where you are now. I mean, the A-League have a structure in terms of salary, and many other leagues around the world as well, where you can have your marquee players being paid a big chunk of cash in comparison to what some of the others are. So I mean, maybe it is a tiered sort of structure that could be brought into the Premier League, where, yes, you can have these couple of players who are paid ridiculous sums of money because you want to retain the best players in the world, in the best league in the world. But then, obviously, you have bands of salary going down further and further. Maybe that's one way of structuring it, so just not everybody's getting 200 grand a week.
It's a good idea. I mean, they did it in the MLS with Beckham as well. That's how they got Beckham to... over to LA Galaxy, didn't they? They made him the marquee player, and then he was on a salary that was completely different from everyone else. And I think that's one way you can justify it. You can have, Man City, you can have, one, and that's Erling Haaland, and the rest are on, But then I think that creates divide in the dressing room. We saw it with Again, I'll go back to that Beckham. We saw it with Landon Donovan, how upset he was, that how much Beckham was getting paid and he didn't really care for LA Galaxy. He was just there for the money. So, and we see it here in the A-League as well. I mean, A-League have got some marquee players, but they're normally, they're here for the Wayne Rooney aspect rather than the club aspect. So it can go to one of two ways, can't it? But it's something that it could be looked at. Don't know if it's going to work in the Premier League.
No. It's an interesting debate. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, the Premier League clubs, I would imagine, would vote on it, and I can imagine a few of the big clubs. Newcastle, probably one of them, would probably vote against it. So that just because it's a talking point doesn't mean it's a formality. But you made an interesting segue there, Rai, about those two players who play abroad. I know that was on your talking points list that we banded around over the weekend. And what a goal! Not just from Bellingham, but from Harry Kane as well. I mean, that was two sublime strikes at the weekend, Rai.
Incredible, mate. Jude Bellingham's goal, obviously he ended up scoring both goals in the El Clasico, which is Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Jude Bellingham getting the win for Real Madrid there as well. Incredible what this kid is doing. And I just got to reiterate this. If you're old like Steve, Dave and I, all right, if you're an aged beautiful
Thanks for being collective
person,
Thanks for being collective.
Sit down with your morning cuppa, because what I'm about to tell you is not good, okay? It's going to shock you, all right? So Jude Bellingham was born 29th of June, 2003. That's right. When we were sitting there, lads, in 2003, we can all remember what we were doing. Do you know what I mean? We were living it up on the dance floor. Jude Bellingham was born 2003. This kid is 20 years old. And if you haven't seen the goal that Jude Bellingham scored for Real Madrid on the weekend, please put everything down right now, right? Keep us in your ears, okay? And go to your local social media's outlets, all right, which is your phones and your Twitters and all of that, all right? I'm sounding old now. And type in Jude Bellingham goal for Real Madrid, because it broke the net. The sound that it hit when it hit the back of the net, it sounded like it broke the net. It was incredible. And then flip side, Harry Kane, he has scored. Is that Beckham-esque? I mean, the last time I've seen a goal like that was Beckham, lads.
Yeah, it was Beckham-esque. It was from the halfway line. It was a wonderful, wonderful strike. And he meant it, which makes it even better.
Didn't he?
Beckham meant it. Kane meant it. It was every bit as good as Beckham's goal. Probably the same amount of distance as well. Every bit as good as Rob Lee's goal that didn't count as well. Rob Lee, of course, for Newcastle, scored a goal against Brentford at St James's Park like that. Except former Newcastle striker who played for Brentford at the time, Joe Allen, was offside. So the goal was chalked off. So,
Kane was interesting when he asked about it. He was asked about it. He said, "Were you meaning it?" He said, "Yep, it's the first time I've scored one like that. I'm always looking where the keeper is. I looked up, could see he was off his line. I've tried it a few times in my career, never pulled one off, but it was nice to see this one dip under the crossbar." So yeah, it took him to 30 years old, but incredible for Harry Kane. And,
it was
we link that back to, obviously, the salary cap, and we're talking about that, because if we salary cap it, you're not going to see Jude Bellingham at 20 years old coming to the Premier League, are you? Unless he's the marquee player, but he is a world beater at the moment, Jude. And I hope to see him in the Premier League one day in the best league in the world, because he deserves to show it. How good he is, and I think he'll want to come home. But at the moment, he's got the world at his feet.
There's a peg in the dressing room at St James's Park for him, Bonnie lad. There's a peg in the there's a peg in the.
I think he'd be waiting for one club to come up. Look, one club will be coming up for him, and it'll be Middlesbrough. Do you know what I mean? I think there's close links there with Jude and Middlesbrough.
He might go to Sunderland. He's got closer links there. He's got his brother.
His brother. He knows his brother will be telling him that don't come to the Mackhams. The best place you want to go in the northeast is Middlesbrough, because his brother will be, he'll be up here. He'll be realising what Middlesbrough's like, and he'll know he wants to go under Carrickville.
Free Palmos for life.
Yeah, free Palmos.
We'll build you a bridge.
And before you go on, fellas, I've got to have this moment of glory. Scoring from the halfway line. Can we just mention SK Victoria Wanderers in Malta playing Melilla, and a certain Dave Roberts doing exactly that.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Davey.
There you go.
Were you refereeing the game at the same time?
No, mate. This was before. This was long before I picked up a whistle. That is my with proper football boots on, not refs boots. That is my one and only claim.
I was going to ask. I reckon you red carded the whole other team, didn't you? There's no one else out there. You just red carded them all.
Let me take you back to 1986. My mum and dad's living room. The Suburio pitch. I flicked the ball over the top of my brother's goalkeeper from the halfway line.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely love it. We've all got the glory stories. My claim to fame, because I was a goalkeeper. I saved a penalty once. I did.
Yeah.
We lost.
We saved a penalty.
We lost 7-6, but I saved one. Yep, I did save one. It was a massive. It was off the diving top left of the goal, and I reached out with all my might, and I got it to my fingertips. It was Mark Schwarzer would have had a tear in his eye watching me as I lunged to the left. And I tipped it over the bar, and off it went. And the boys were absolutely wild. And then they forgot that they needed to still bang one more in, and we lost. But it was an incredible moment in my history of Mark Schwarzer, if you would.
Cracking.
Yeah, I was a centre half, lads. But I did have a spelling goal as Barthez in the film Goal. Now. You were
Fabian Barthez. I can see the resemblance.
So the downside to this, lads, is though that the main actor got sacked, and the director resigned after I'd shot my bit, so they had to reshoot the whole thing again. So I'm on the cutting room floor, lads. But the good thing is, I did manage to get one of my friends to video it, me in goal. And it was the day after Alan Shearer had missed a penalty against Wolverhampton Wanderers at St James's Park. So I've got a photograph. I've got a video of me taking a penalty at the Gallagher end and scoring against one of the actors. So I have got a nice memento from it, lads. But I will send the photo in the WhatsApp group for you, and we can have a look at that. So that's my goalkeeping story.
Santiago, good movie that. Good movie that. It was a good movie. What a good turnaround that was.
While we're touching on a bit of Newcastle there, I've got to ask you about Joey Barton and the comments he made about Steve Evans. You know, he's called the Stevenage boss at the weekend. He called he's a big lad, is Steve Evans. And Joey Barton, after the match, basically, he called him a fat man and the weeble.
Oh, dear me. And now in this woke society we live in, you're not allowed to do that anymore.
He has now been sacked, of course.
Can't say that. Yeah.
You can't go that personal, can you?
Nah, Joey.
You can't.
Nah, Joey's always been one that walks the line, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's certainly done that over the years. I mean, he doesn't put his brain in gear sometimes before he opens his mouth. Nope. But nowadays you can get yourself into serious bother saying stuff like that. So yeah, not good to hear. But Joey, as you say, wears his heart on his sleeve. It was mixed. It was a mixed bag at Newcastle. He came into Newcastle. I loved him. He was the kind of player that you love to hate when he played against you, but when he was playing for you, you love to have him on your team. But I still say that his stupidity and the way that he treated Alan Shearer in the dressing room probably helped us go down that season when Newcastle and Middlesbrough were neck and neck to go down, because he got sent off against Liverpool. And because he was out for 3 games, and I think that was just the height of stupidity. He could have kept us up, but then he stuck by us. He stayed. He didn't leave, and he was a wonderful player in the Championship. Got us up, and then when he got back into the Premier League, he was part and parcel of a really successful team with Shola and Kevin Nolan and Alan Smith, Steve Harper. So look, we've been there with Joey Barton. He's one of football's characters. You don't have many of them now, do you?
No, you certainly don't. Lads, I've got to want to talk to you about just quickly before we are wrapping up. We've made it through with no baby,
no yet.
Ted,
okay.
Half a Steve as well on location. We've almost got through a full show. Can't believe it. No Ted.
We will make up for that tomorrow, by the way, fellas. We will make up for no Ted tomorrow. There's probably going to be no Rye, but Nick Barnes, BBC Radio Newcastle, Sunderland commentator, has just clocked up over 1,000 games commentating on Sunderland matches. So Barnesy's going to join us tomorrow on the show.
Excellent.
Great stuff.
Love that. No, great stuff.
Sorry,
incredible man. No, it's great. Well interrupted for 1,000. Man, what a legend. No, can't wait to either be here for that or be tuning in from the hospital.
She won't let you, mate. She will not let you.
I've got to get your thoughts, lads. One of the biggest stories I think over the weekend, and it's a bit of a crazy one, is the kidnapping of Luis Diaz's parents. And we saw this, obviously. Luis Diaz, the Liverpool midfielder, he obviously didn't play on the weekend. We saw the Liverpool players holding up the jersey of Luis Diaz as well. But yeah, the father and mother. Now the mother has been found. She was found on Saturday, but his dad is still missing. And we've reported that more than 120 soldiers, police, and locals are searching northern Colombia for Luis Manuel Diaz, Luis Diaz's dad. Incredible news, lads.
It's awful, lads. It's awful to hear news like that. And I mean, he must be beyond himself. I noticed the club and Diaz didn't say anything, but I mean, it's an awful situation for anyone to face. And clearly, the country's in a bit of turmoil with with this kind of thing going on, and just not a nice situation to be in. And they're clearly targeted because of their son, and knowing that he will be on a decent wage, and knowing that they could, if they get ransom money, that he would likely to pay it. But very little coming out from Liverpool on this story, and rightly so until they get the facts, I guess. But I mean, all I'll say is that we just hope that that this situation is resolved and his dad comes back unscathed.
I completely agree, and prayers out to the Diaz family, and I hope that it all comes out in the wash, that everything's okay, because it's crazy news.
I've got to shoot off, lads. I've just had the nod from the director, lads. Good luck with it. Good luck with it, and I'll see everybody tomorrow morning, lads.
Action.
See you, Steve. Daz.
Take care.
Cheers, Steve. See you tomorrow, mate. That's Steve Wraith. He's out on a shoot, so he's had to shoot off. Bum. Which just leaves three smoggies on there.
I know, yeah.
Hey,
that's not bad.
Love it.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you doing?
Our listening figures are plummeting as we speak,
mate?
on Tyneside and Wayside. There you go.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
What a weekend, lads, hey? What a weekend. Good gardening. You guys get out in the garden this weekend? That's been the talk of the show. Daffodils blooming this time of year.
Well, maybe for you, mate, not for us. Yeah. They're shivering at the moment over here.
Well, I was really gutted at the weekend, right? Because I've never done this before, but through a friend of a friend, I managed to get a corporate at the borough. It's never happened before. So, in the Legends Lounge, all nice and civilised, lovely food, lovely drink, and then spoilt by the football.
Yep. You're the curse.
Yeah.
The curse.
So, I know you were saying it was Davey lad earlier for posting that post, but no, I think it might have been my fault. So, hands up, I apologise.
All of you over there that did something different on the weekend for the first time, please stop. All right? Because we got Exeter in the Carabao Cup. We need to be the Carabao Cup champions. Okay, and we got Plymouth away, for goodness sake. We're on the other side of the country for more than we are home this week. Incredible, but it was a tough performance. It was. Yeah. It was just tired. The best way you can rub something, we just looked tired.
Yeah. Well, look, Sammy Riley Michelle is going to bring good luck for the Borough on Tuesday. Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah.
Sammy Riley Michelle Carrick III is the official name, and I am TMing it. I am copywriting it. If anyone else out there is listening to the radio and you're maybe in hospital going through the same thing, if you steal my baby's name, I'm coming after you, okay? Because she's going to be beautiful, is young Sammy Riley Michelle Carrick III. So it's going to be incredible. We ought to fit a latte in there as well.
Well, I heard Steve say earlier on that it's not so important that you bounce back on Tuesday night. I think it's absolutely crucial.
I think it is, yeah.
This is our one chance of some silverware this season. We're doing really well. Get past these. Get a decent...
pasties?
Yeah, get some pasties from Greg's.
I'm hungry. Done.
Get past these, and then, another interesting game. We could be there.
Do you know what?
I mean, we got in the fair whack of the draw, haven't we? Yeah. We got Exeter. I mean, we could have gotten Man United away or anything like that. Newcastle, whatever. But we've got an Exeter, so we need to go down there. We need to put a show in. We've got the squad rotation now in that cup. I think you'll see like Glover playing. Obviously, Seti Tiang will be rested. I'd like to see your Rogers, Silveras, Latte start.
Yeah, Latte up front. Yeah.
I'd like to see all them start. I don't know if Hayden comes back. I'd say he would because he's had the weekend off. So I dare say Hayden Hackney will be in there. Anthony Jicksteel, Matty Clark as well, lads. Two lads that were on the bench on the weekend. Jicksteel came on. But Matty Clark, the bald eagle, he might be back out there as well. So it might be a return down the back line for a Matty Clark as well. So
the one thing that concerns
Alex Bangura
me,
in left back.
Yeah, absolutely. But my concern would be if we didn't win on Tuesday, losing to lower league opposition after that abject performance against Stoke City might just cause one or two cracks in the old mental approach to games, and I don't want that lack of confidence.
Nope.
That's why it's forget about getting through the quarterfinals of a major cup competition. For me, it's more important about just shoring up, just getting out of the mind that Stoke City performance.
Yeah. That's a good point.
If we lose to Exeter City midweek, I'm leaving the show and I'm starting my own gardening show live Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. on the bread. The bread is a. I will not be able to face.
You keep threatening me with launching this, taking Ted, the Macam away, and launching the bread radio station. Well done, mate.
Ted Rye on the bread. It just has a good ring to it, doesn't it?
Hey, you've just put him first.
I know, yeah. I
heard I got Steve's some not happy with you, mate.
Yeah, I know. I heard
you are not. Yep. I tell you what. I mean, you're the jingle man, and you've jingled the wrong way this time, sir. You've jingled the wrong way. He's not even here.
We got the first time.
He's demanding more money. He's the Erling Haaland of the show. You know what I mean? He's out here going, give me the big money. I'm the big forward that can take this, radio station to the big leagues. And he's not even here, and he's getting played first. Can't believe it, Daz.
I know.
I'll sort it.
Yeah, but we're all done. We're all done and dusted, mate. Look,
we're all done.
Fingers crossed. I do need to run. Toes
it's getting closer.
Eyes crossed. Everything crossed for your next 24 hours, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, lads.
Give the good lady a good cuddle and a hug.
I will.
And like I say, if she wants you to hold her hand, don't. The knuckles will be broken.
Good note.
All right, mate. Enjoy.
All the very best.
Take care, lads. Have a great day.
And you.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swarwell to Silverlink, Steve and Rye, the Northeast Footy Breakfast.
Right across